Hi, this is Mugdha Pradhan. I'm a functional nutritionist and the founder of iThrive, and welcome to FitTak. Today we're going to talk about how gluten can cause back pain. And though it might sound really far-fetched, let me first talk about what gluten is. Gluten is this protein found in certain grains, primarily found in wheat and all forms of wheat. So maida, rava, noodles, spaghetti, pasta, all of these wheat-based products and the wheat grain itself contains gluten. It's also found in other grains such as barley, rye, sometimes even in oats. So why is gluten such a problem, right? Like, this particular protein is something that is very, very inflammatory to most human beings. The wheat itself that we have now is really hybridized. It's not the kind of wheat that maybe our ancestors ate, and we didn't even eat wheat in these large quantities many years ago. So this gluten is something that once you eat, once it goes into your system and it gets broken down, it can trigger a lot of different kinds of inflammation in your body. We've also seen it actually cause autoimmune conditions in people because of something called as molecular mimicry. So when you eat gluten, especially if you have a very sensitive gut, that gluten is going to go into your gut, and the inflammation that it triggers is often going to cause a lot of gas and bloating. So the microbes in your gut can feed on gluten and release gas, or just because your system is trying to deal with it and it's creating an entire immune response, right? All the cytokines, everything is being released. That could kind of cause gas in your gut, and that gas can lead to bloating. Now, our spine is supposed to support the rest of our torso. So our spine is supposed to be this straight, really erect set of bones. And then the torso is supposed to be, the front of you is supposed to be aligned with that spine. What happens is when you eat gluten and when you actually start getting gas and bloating, your stomach starts distending. So this is a belly that's like not getting inflamed by gluten. And this is someone who has eaten gluten, like maybe a brown bread or a toast in the morning, and over time, by afternoon, this person's belly is getting bloated and distended. So what happens is now the front of the body is putting so much pressure on the spine. So either somebody will start bending forward, or to kind of bear the burden of this bloated belly, the spine is going to start bending backwards. Okay, so this is what happens to the spine. Either you end up in a hunched posture to deal with the bloating, or you kind of just are sitting back in your chair like this because it's too much pressure in the front of your body. Now, because of that, and if this is happening every single day, if it happens once in a way, nothing's going to happen, right? But if this happens every single day, where the bloating and the kind of pressure that is coming on the spine and all the other supporting joints also becomes overwhelming, over time it can actually lead to chronic back pain, which is like what are the muscles supporting your spine. So that is really how eating gluten can trigger back pain. It's not something that's a random hypothesis. It's actually physiologically what's happening in the body. And that's why if you're experiencing a lot of bloating through the day and you're experiencing back pain after that, it would be ideal to eliminate gluten and see if you experience relief. So then the natural question people have is if they eliminate wheat, right? Like, because wheat is everywhere. Like, what will you eat for breakfast if you can't eat bread and if you can't eat dalia? What will you eat for lunch if you can't eat rotis? And then what will you do? Like, no rava, no maida, no pasta, no noodles. What are you going to eat? It's a very common question that people have. And there are so many non-gluten grains available. For example, rice. White rice is really, really safe for consumption. I highly recommend white rice. We actually, in our work also, we've seen white rice actually doesn't really create negative impacts on the body. And if you're somebody who wants to eat like a roti format, right? You want to eat roti with your sabzi, you can easily do. In Maharashtra, it's called bhakris. In Rajasthan, I think it's called rotla. But many cultures have their own versions of it. So millets, right? So jowar, bajra, ragi, use millets to create bhakris, and then you can consume these instead of rotis. Now, if you're someone who wants to occasionally have pasta or noodles, now you're getting gluten-free pasta and noodles also, which are made with rice flour. You get like rice rava, so you can actually make everything that you want that's like rava based with that. So there are many options, and there are many other flours also. There is like coconut flour, so many other flours that don't have gluten in them, that are safe for your gut and that won't create bloating. So Ditch the gluten today and see how it makes you feel if you're someone who's suffering from back pain.